Hi guys, Barbara here from BarbaraMakesCrafts.com, and I want to welcome you to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. So if you have small kids or grandkids, or even older kids that have done this, you have probably heard of the 100 Days of School. And if you haven't heard of this, it's just a little celebration that they do for lower elementary kids, K through 2, and I'm hoping preschool too, because my granddaughter's in preschool. It's a lot of fun for the kids, and they learn how much 100 is. So today I thought we could make some kids t-shirts for them to wear on that 100th day of school. So I'm going to be using the new Siser brick 600 heat transfer vinyl. And this is a very thick vinyl, kind of stands off whatever you're putting it on. And it's probably about 5 or 6 times as thick as permanent vinyl. So let's go ahead and get started. So to make this project, here's what you will need. You're gonna need, of course, your Siser brick 600 vinyl, and I'm using blue and white for the boys. We'll need a 12 by 12 standard grit cutting mat, or the 12 by 24 if your design's going to be bigger. You'll need a scraper tool, old credit card, something, anything like that to burnish your vinyl down. Now you will need a tape measure or something to measure your shirt so you know what size the design should be. I'm going to use a straight edge X-Acto knife. This is Cricut's True Control knife to cut my vinyl along with a straight edge, because I don't make straight cuts, but if you do, you don't, you know, you do you, right? And I also love these tweezers, stab and grab tweezers from 143vinyl.com. You can get them, Cricut has some, and you might even be able to get them in craft stores, I don't know. So there's those are my favorite. Of course, you are gonna need a t-shirt, and I'm going to be using a youth size t-shirt because 100 Days of School is, you know, for younger school age kids. And a heating mat you will need. This one is from 143vinyl.com. Cricut makes one. It's a good bit more expensive, but you know, it is a really good mat. But like I said, this is from 143vinyl.com. Cricut makes one. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon. And if your budget doesn't allow for this, or you just don't want to buy it, you can just use a towel. And then of course you're going to need your Cricut and a heat press. I'm going to be using the Easy Press 2. And important for me to say that you can use any cutting machine that works with SVG files for this. Doesn't have to be the Cricut. If you have the Silhouette or even the Solo from 143 Vinyl, scan and cut, those kind of things will work with this project also. So the first thing that I want to do is, oh, and I forgot to mention the lint roller, just for that purpose, just to get a little dirt and, in my case, dog hair, German Shepherd hair. So I want to lay this out flat so I can measure my design area. And a good rule of thumb for a child's shirt or a toddler shirt, whatever, is about 3 fingers from the neckline. So that's going to be about right there is where we're going to start our project. And for a good print area, let's see, we'll just say 7 inches by maybe 8 inches. All right, so 7 by 8 inches. So now we're going to head over to Design Space and start our design. All right, so here we are in Design Space with a blank canvas. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to add a shape. I'm going to add a square because the rectangle has rounded, I don't know, it's just me. If you like the rounded, that's perfectly fine. This is just going to be a guide anyway. So I want to make it 8 inches wide and 7 inches high. And then I'm going to lock it back. And now I'm going to go right here under operation where it says basic cut. I'm just going to open that drop down and scroll all the way down till I get to guide. And you can see that took the black away. It left red guidelines. This is not going to print. This is not going to affect your design in any way other than just giving you a surface that's the right size for you to put your design in to make sure that you have everything right. So the next, I'm just going to slide this over and start my design over here. So I'm going to add text, and the font that I want to use is called, it's Anley Extra Bold. Okay. So I'm going to use that font and start my first part of the phrase, which is I totally. And then the next one I want to do is going to be rocked, but I want that to be in all caps. So I want to turn this rocked. I'm going to turn it blue, like a bright blue, because that's what color it's going to be. The rest of it, we're going to cut it in white, but you can leave it in black, or you can change it to white if you want to. In fact, let's go ahead and do that so we can see how that will look on the design. Okay, so there you can see it in white and blue. And now I'm going to add an image, and that image is going to be a guitar. So I'll just go right here in the search. Okay, so I'm going to add this to the canvas, and now I'm going to start all my designing. Now, since all this is white, then we want to make the guitar white as well. Or do we want to make it blue? Let's see. Okay, so now I want to take the word rocked, and I'm going to add a simple offset to it, so it can kind of stand out from the rest of the design on the shirt. So I'm going to go up here where it says offset and just click on that. And it defaults to 0.25. It defaults basically to 1/4 of an inch. And I don't want it quite that big. So I'm going to take this here and move it down. Well, let me see how that looks. You can't tell there's an offset. Well, there is an offset, but you can't really tell it, can you? Okay, so let's just delete that. Delete is what I want. Okay. So we'll try again with the offset. Oh, it's 0. That's why it's not showing anything. Okay, so that ended up at like 0.153 or something. So let's go back. Well, wait a minute. Okay, let's do that. It's about 0.08. And you can see it makes a nice outline there. And I want to turn that white also. And then just slip this back up there just to make sure it looks right. It's not a cut already on the offset, but I just want to make sure that it's going to be okay. And so for right now, I just want to group them together so that when I size them and do things like that, move them around, move the word around, it'll all move together. All right, so you can see that all this is pretty big. So I'm gonna make it smaller. I'm leaving the guide out of the way for now because when you move it, around your design. You can't select anything in the design because everything you select is going to select that guide. Let's see if that, no. Okay, so we'll try again. So we are going to put our guide around just to make sure everything fits. And I think it does. Well, I know it does. I can see right there. So the next step is I want to ungroup the offset so that I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. I am going to attach the word raw. So now we can proceed to making it. So we're going to hit this green button right here. And we've got, I totally rocked 100 Days of School on that one. And we've got the guitar and rocked here. So what we want to do now when you're working with HTV or any kind of iron-on, you want to make sure your mirror is turned on. And you're going to have to do that for each mat. Okay? And make sure you know when you're switching around from mat to mat, because I have made a ton of mistakes this way. Make sure you know which mat is cutting. And you can tell if I click on the white mat, so that mat is going to show here. And even though it does that, guys, I have messed it up. So your mat is going to show on your main screen. Also over here, it's going to be in white, and the mat you're not cutting will be grayed out. So that is the way we tell. So now we're just going to click on continue. And the setting we're going to use for this is glitter vinyl. You have to turn the mirror on each mat, and if you back up a mat, so if you back up here, you can see this is the mat that's going to cut. It shows here, and it's in white here. And mirror is on. It's lit up green, so it's on. So now we'll check the second mat, and it's blue here. It's in white here, and the mirror is on. This is where you will turn it on when it's time. So I'm going to go back up to the basic cut, and I am going to continue. Now it's asking for what material you want to use, and we're going to use the glitter vinyl setting again, and more pressure again, and remember the material settings so we don't have to check it again each time. It saves you a few seconds, and every second counts, believe me. All right, so let's head over to the Cricut. Okay, so now it is time to weed, and I just need to make sure I'm not going to cut into the word on my vinyl. Pull it slowly so that we are sure to get everything we need on the transfer tape. we will cut the blue. All right, so now we have the blue, and once again, I'm not going to waste any vinyl, especially this brick. Guys, this stuff is a little bit pricey. Get the most that I can out of it. And guys, what you did not see, because I did it off camera, was that when this brick got finished cutting, before I hit this button to pull the mat out, I just hit the play button again. It pulled it right back in and cut over the same exact areas that it did the first time. And that is going to make the cut a little bit deeper. You can just go ahead and change the settings in the setting area. And I have a cheat sheet for that when you get my brand new course, Master Your Cricut Like a Boss. I have a sheet with all the blade settings on it, so you can change the settings inside the materials list. All right, so let's get this party started here. Alright, so that is weeded, and we will get this put on our shirt. I'm so excited about how this is going to turn out. Alright, so this is cooled down now, and so we're going to just lift it up slowly, just to be sure everything laid down correctly. Notice I'm just peeling off very slowly, just to make sure. And guys, it's the shiny side that's going to stick to your material, so just make sure that that shiny side goes down on the t-shirt. Okay, so we've got that down, so we need to add our rocked right here, and we're going to put it in that offset. Just lay it down just like so. Then we have our guitar, and in the design I kind of leaned it up. Tell you what we're going to do is we're going to do this down, take it up, and then do the guitar separate, because with all the tape and whatnot, it's just not going to work out the way we want it to. Alright, once again, here we go with the parchment paper. hold it down and start the timer 20 seconds, and I'm putting some pretty good pressure, what we would call heavy pressure. Okay, and once again, it's gonna have to cool before we can really know if it's stuck down, so we'll let it cool down. While I had a little trouble with the vinyl, it's still a pretty cute t-shirt. I also made one for my granddaughter that turned out a little bit better, so I'll probably redo this one for my grandson. And I have another grandson that I need to make one for too. So if you got anything from this video, just go ahead and hit the like button below and shoot me a smiley emoji in the comments. I love hearing from you. And I will just link to my social media in the description box below, as well as the items we used. So until then, happy crafting!